Hello everyone, I'm Xiaogang. Okay, before we talk about synchronization, we need to define what loading is. You can ignore these things for now, meaning what kind of things need to be loaded. The default scene objects that are already in place definitely need to be loaded because not loading them will cause problems. What do all objects in the scene need network synchronization? Not necessarily. So loading comes before network synchronization. Let's ignore dynamic objects for now. That is, for example, if I process this scene for everyone now, it's relatively simple. There's no need for us to elaborate, only when everyone is teaching. So the first level is placed here, then the second level is placed here, and it's very simple. We have a wall here. As for the properties of this wall, we'll ignore them for now. Restore default. So then we wrote an actor here. The base class of this actor is character. Then we added the camera. Then we just placed a stackman to right. Then we just wrote something. What WASD controls like that. Then in the game mode, we specified. We just use this current character. Then we now launch it in single player mode. Launch in single player mode. You can see there is no problem at all because the objects in this level are already placed and there is no problem. Then you realize we can't get through. Right? This is also very normal, and this is okay. There is absolutely no problem. So these objects, actually, when you open an actor, these actors by default all need to be loaded on the client. Then they will all be loaded. So we are here, but they don't have network replication enabled. So we are here. We could place another one here. For example, we create a new actor here. Let's just put it here. Our BP, we call it Sophia. We just made up the name. It doesn't matter. We'll place one here. For example, let's put a sphere. Place a big white sphere, and it will have some default properties. We can put it here, light. As you can see, it's a bit hard to find here. It should be somewhere near the bottom. As for this tag, it should be in its default properties. They are all enabled by default. That is, the client will load this object. You can see. Now let's drag out a sphere. We'll place it here. Move it a bit forward. Now obviously we switch to the client. We view it from a client perspective. You can see it is loaded by default. But if we change its property to not it by default, you can see. You'll notice we don't have it on the client because it is not loaded on the client, but it actually exists on the server. How do we check that? We can switch to nation server. This way, we have a viewpoint. It's on the host server. We can see what the server looks like. It's very much like our first server. You can see this server. There is a ball here, right? But we didn't see it on the client. So that's not correct. Therefore, in our scene, these objects are loaded by default. If you don't load them, for example, this wall, I have a wall here. Then we turn off its property card. Then you will find in the way of license server for everyone to see. You'll notice it's normal that I can't get through here, right? This player on my side can see there is a wall, but I, on this leg, client side player, can't see this wall. You can see he can't get through now. You can notice we got past it. No, we walked over here. You'll notice he can't move anymore. See, look at my second screen. It's obvious he can't get through, but he doesn't know why. Because there's an object here that hasn't been loaded, right? So this is the first thing. First, you need to have this concept of loading. Yes. Then, for these objects, you can actually look at our character. Here we find repletic and the feature re. It should be here. Collect the replication. Actually, it enables a lot of things for us. You will find that it has enabled movement here. That is, its movement will be synchronized and its client will also be loaded. And at the same time, it will also perform this synchronization. Because this is a character, so it supports so many remote calls. But actually, for a default actor like this, in reality, it will only enable a default load on client setting. And here, replicate and replicate movement are actually not enabled in this way because we need to save resources as much as possible. First, we need to understand this loading mechanism